Sup everyone, this is JusticeSoulTuna, and welcome back to Voice of the World, which I haven't done for God knows how long, and I figured that I might as well get a lot of them done, if not all of them, pretty much, you know, in my own pace, and I just thought that it'd be nice to start up the series again since I haven't done it in a while. And without wanting to waste too much time, let me just get on to today's topic, the topic near and dear to my heart because of a game that's near and dear to my heart, which you all know by now, Street Fighter X Tekken. As we all know, Street Fighter X Tekken is a very hated, very a very badly looked upon game. Basically, it's a game that a lot of people dislike for a myriad of reasons, including the way it plays, the character balance, the mechanics, and I don't know. Obviously, the big deal with the DLC because of Capcom, you know, on this DLC and all that. I mean, you know the story. I'm not really going to go into that. But even though a lot of these issues are no longer present, i.e. the characters are out, the bugs are gone, you know, the glitches are gone completely, the game is stable, the game has all the characters, you know, all that stuff, and obviously version 2013, is coming pretty soon. However, people still pretty much hate it or just don't consider it. And even though there's definitely fighters on both sides of the argument, it's nice to see people actually support Cross Tekken, because I'm a big campaigner for Cross Tekken myself. Cross Tekken being the nickname Street Fighter Cross Tekken, also Strekken amongst some of my friends. Yeah, I'm a big campaigner for Cross Tekken, and I always try to defend it and, you know, prove how the game is liked by a lot of people, you know, pros and casuals alike, and so on. But there was this one particular comment I saw online that I just thought was pretty magical in my opinion, and I'm going to read it out to you. Obviously, as usual, everything remains anonymous, but I'll read it out to you. And it says, ADD Marvel players mad they can't win in Street Fighter X Tekken with the same old SF4 Marvel derp tactics. They refuse to learn new stuff. SFXC is suffering from the parry effect. Just like how people hated parries, they hate the mechanics of Street Fighter X Tekken and are not using them, so they see things as OP and cheap, but in reality they aren't, because they are not using the unique mechanics of Street Fighter X Tekken to deal with them. In other words, everyone complaining are just a bunch of FG scrubs. Stay free. Haha. Now, even though this is taking hella aims at like Marvel players and Street Fighter players, I think the point isn't to focus on that, because really you can interchange those games with any other game and any other fan base. The point isn't about hating the fan base. The point is addressing the fact that a lot of people don't actually think about how to play Street Fighter X Tekken. Even now, like, they don't think of how to play Street Fighter X Tekken uniquely. They just compare it to SF4, which it's nothing like. They compare it to other games in the past, when that's just pointless. When Street Fighter X Tekken, the reason why it's still big and growing right now is because it's a unique game in its own right with its own unique mechanics. Online is pretty much where it's at. Sure, it suffered on the tournament scene, but it's really big online. People discovering new and great things all the time. And it's actually quite the enjoyable game for myself and many others. So the problem isn't that the game itself is inherently bad, otherwise, you know, truly nobody would play it. As people say, nobody plays that game, but the fact is people do. And the point is that if you want to play a game like this, you have to actually embrace and understand its mechanics, as opposed to just saying it sucks, it doesn't make any sense, blah blah blah, Pandora is useless, you know, that kind of thing. If you actually start to think about a game's mechanics, I'm not even just saying this about Cross Tekken, I'm saying this about any game. If you actually look at a game's mechanics in isolation and begin to learn the game on its own, you'll find what's enjoyable within it, instead of saying that it's useless, it's pointless, or whatever. So the point of today's Voice of the World wasn't to say that anybody should just hate on any fan base of any game, or, I don't know, dislike a game's mechanics because it like in comparison to others. But the point is to not judge a game, especially specifically a fighting game, based on previous games' mechanics, but instead to give equal worth, or even, you know, non-worth to a game solely based on its mechanics. You know, people hated parries compared to other mechanics from previous Street Fighter games like Street Fighter 2 and Alpha, but 3 was still a really popular game, still really popular to this day, despite its issues and some of the gripes people have with it, like Chun-Li, for example. And then SF4 came along with ultra combos and focus attacks, which people hate and underutilized, until people began to like it. And now we all know how big Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition version 2012 is. We all know how big that game is. People fully accept it and understand its system. Same with Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and now Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. You know, X Factor, characters like Wesker and Phoenix, so much hate for it, but when people got used to it and understand it, that's how they were able to enjoy it. It's literally accepting and understanding the mechanics. If you don't like it, if you don't prefer it, you cannot play it. That's fine. There's loads of people that don't like or play either Street Fighter or Marvel, but as long as you understand a game's unique mechanics, then and only then can you appreciate the game for what it is, not for what it isn't. So yeah, this is JusticeSoulTuna. See you later.